as we speak currently, she's no longer the department, or she's no longer a contractor of the department. There is a contractual dispute that we are having with Mampota Construction, a contractual dispute relating to retention of money that the department has done. For the department to pay retention, Honorable Chair, there must be practical completion of the project. It is contractual. So that is where we are sitting currently. We are engaging with the contractor on that dispute, Honorable Chair. That is why the retention is still withheld and not paid to the contractor, Honorable Chair. Moving, Chair, to the third question relating to asbestos and the remedial action thereof. The DG had already indicated that there is an investigation team appointed, and remedial action are being implemented by the province, Honorable Chair. We have currently suspended the Director Supply Chain, which is a consequence management arising out of the remedial action on the report of the Public Protector. This process of remedial action is ongoing, Chair. We are proceeding with it, and we are abiding by the contents of the report, Honorable Chair. Further on asbestos, Honorable Chair, we are further cooperating with different law enforcement agencies. There is the SIU that is also within the space of asbestos project. From every now and then they approach the department requesting information. We are complying fully with them. There's also the Hawks in the province, which we are also complying fully with them in requesting information pertaining to the project itself, Honorable Chair. Those are the three questions, Honorable Chair, that were posed and by honorable members. Thank you, Honorable Chair.
Education, there was a question raised by Honorable Nkosi Lutuli. Can we first get the education one? Education.
Thanks, Honorable Chair. I think the acting HOD is has logged in as well. I'm the acting MEC Education because the MEC is ill and can't be part of the committee.
Okay.
And I think the Nkosi Lutuli has asked a question of the damage or vandalism in school and subsequently the cause thereof. The acting HOD will sufficiently reply to the question. But we have, in the report, quantified the number of schools that were affected, and we have also enumerated in terms of various districts and the process of completion from 0 to 50% and 50% above, where we account in detail on each school progress in terms of repairing and the progress thereof. And the DG has already indicated. I'm sure the HOD will reply to the issue sufficiently, but I was briefed that it's in the region of 12 million of all the schools that have been repaired this far. I want to make a request, Chair, that I should also deal with issues of COCTA, and the HOD should just follow after the other HOD.
Okay, it's fine.
I'm allowed. Thanks.
Sure, do that.
There was an issue about Nketwani as well, honorable member, and the HOD could still furnish a detailed information, but the information at our disposal is that all processes of the SCM were properly followed and regulation 361 of the MFMA. So to a large extent, processes of procuring all COVID-19 products or goods were done in line with the law, and that report can still be furnished to the committee. On the issue of municipalities that did not spend, I think the HOD will spend more time giving detail on this issue. But suffice to say, especially during the COVID process, most of the municipalities weren't able to generate income because there was no revenue collection and people were not able to go out and pay for their services, and others were not even getting income. So to a large extent, municipalities suffered a lot during this process. And on the issue of the ITPs, I just want to take it further, Chair, with your indulgence, of course, that our approach has been, in essence, to focus on the core function of municipalities to create a habitable environment, especially during the lockdown period. And we agree that we must extend it beyond because we needed a habitable environment and people should be able to, on their own, engage and follow all COVID-19 protocols. On sanitation, because it was lockdown at the time, people were at home and the demand was a bit higher. So part of the budget was to be utilized to provide services on sanitation on a regular basis and increase our services into attending to such issues. To an extent that in areas where there was buckets, we increased the tractors or even trucks that were emptying those buckets. In areas where there are VIPs, we had included in the budget that we must increase tractors or trucks that are emptying the VIPs. But we needed to create a conducive environment so that people are able, because they were not able to go out, now they are able to can have a conducive environment they live in. We also focused on water, which is also a core mandate in various municipalities, where to a large extent, also with the close relations with human settlement and Department of Water and Sanitation, increased the tankers and even extending them to areas that were not formal, informal settlement. Because on humanitarian grounds, you needed to provide sanitation and water, even in those areas, because you needed people to have that conducive environment and also are able to wash their hands using soap on a regular basis. So that as well was part of the program and is part of the IDP plans of municipalities now, that in an event that any outbreak that is taking place, we should be in a position to respond, but focusing on the core function of municipalities. Even on electricity, Chair, we're able to a large extent provide uninterrupted electricity supply. And this we did despite that ESCOM is saying to us, even if people did not pay, we want you to pay because you consumed our product. So municipalities find themselves in a quagmire where they had to provide uninterrupted supply and to a large extent could not generate because people were not paying, but ESCOM want us to pay either way. So we are in that quagmire, but we are engaging to say we must find a way where we are given a space, or municipalities are given a space to make a reasonable arrangement to that extent. But with the spirit of wanting to fight the disease and at the same time creating a conducive environment where to provide that as well. The decontamination plan and program was undertaken in all areas, with the municipalities leading, even cooperating with the Department of Roads and Transport on the taxis decontamination program. But we also entered into a plan of decontaminating all our buildings, all our vehicles in the municipalities. So that plan and program had worked very well. But continuously or repeatedly, municipalities they have cases in their buildings, and they had to continue the plan of decontamination. So that plan as well was put in place, and the availability of PPEs, especially of the staff of municipalities, and there was also availed. So as part of the IDPs, in our case, it was focused mainly or largely on the core function of municipalities, which is forming part of the current process that we are undertaking. We're also part and parcel of the process of wide and intensive education to the people around observing the protocols, but also in the education to deal with the stigmatization. Because many of the people, despite that the information is there, but they still don't understand. That's why you see many of them ignorant and then resorting to stigmatization, or either they don't care, they just behave as loose as they are. So civic education has formed part of municipalities to enhance and extend that process. Thank you. I would request you, Chair, to allow the two HODs to respond to the issues as outlined. Thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you so much, MEC. Can I request the HOD of Education to deal with the cost of
HOD
the
Cocta.
education first? Remember, you said there's a matter of education that the HOD. You told me you told us that you are the acting HOD, MEC. So the simplest issue was to start with the education one, because it's one question.
Yeah. Thank you.
On the
Thank
school's
you,
expenditure.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you.
Yes, sure. Education, HOD.
Chair, even if he's not here, the information at my disposal is
okay.
Oh,
Thank you. No, thank you very much, Chair. I am not the HOD, I'm the Chief Director for districts. I've been requested by the DG to respond to that. Just two questions. The first one, my name is Mohobo, as the Chief Director for District Management in the Free State Province Department of Education. The first issue, the DG had already addressed it around the fauna, that the school is stabilized, teaching and learning is going on very well at that school. Indeed, there were some disruptions, but they were brought under control. And the SGB had to lay off some of the SGB employees because of the non-payment of school fees by the parents. But we must indicate that as a department, we have provided the teachers to the schools. And we have also requested that where there are complaints of mismanagement, we be forwarded with evidence so that we can then institute an investigation around those matters that were raised. But the Chair, the matter is under control and everything is fine at the school as we speak now. On the issue of vandalism that was raised, the MEC has already indicated that the costing is estimated at 12,554,791 rand. And it must be noted that the vandalism and the burglary that happened in our schools, it took place during the lockdown, where people went to schools to break our school toilets, doors, ceilings, and other infrastructure related matters. And the department, through the EIG, we are attending to all of these matters. And the report of the DG indicated that almost 48 of those schools have been completed, and we are working towards the completion of the outstanding ones. And each district, there is an allocation for each district, for all the 5 districts, so as to attend to all of those reported matters around vandalism. I think that is all, Chairperson, that wanted to bring to the meeting. Thank you very much.
Acting HOD Copter. And I hand over to you.
Chairperson, thank you. I'm not the acting HOD Copter, Chairperson. Let me greet all of you. Good evening, honorable members, colleagues who are present also. I've been required to respond on some of the issues that were raised, especially around the income or the
In the morning,
expenditure.
you were so clear, visible. Can you go back a bit? We managed to see you properly in the morning. That's much better.
Thank you, Chairperson. I am saying on the issue of the expenditure that were part of the disaster. You would recall, Chairperson, that during that time, most municipalities did not have a sustainable income because we were under lockdown. People were not paying for their services as earlier on by the MEC. And then most municipalities then used the grant to actually augment on the payment of salaries, which we can confirm that it is not consistent with the Division of Revenue Act because it was never used for the intended purpose. But however, after most municipalities received their equitable share around the 7th of July, they were able to replace the expenditure and started the procurement process in terms of the COVID-19 material acquisition. So we will be presenting a report to show that most municipalities have procured. The only area that I think is lacking from our side of municipalities was also to provide reports to that effect. But we will ensure that those reports are provided to me. The command center by their expenditure report to Treasury, and majority of municipalities have so far submitted the same reports to our provincial Treasury. We've also engaged our municipalities in terms of the standard operating procedure on the some employees have been tested positive. It's a matter that the command center also dealt with and adopted by the command council, and that has been communicated adequately to our municipalities. On the procurement, I think there will be a report, like I said, Honorable Chairperson, on how municipalities spend their disaster grant allocation. MEC has also touched on a number of issues that I think I do not necessarily have to repeat them, Chairperson, in the interest of time. That's where I would like to end my story. Thank you, Chairperson.
Can we come with clear deadline, HOD, on the issue of the spending on the money that you got from Copter National? If you don't submit it on time,
Chairperson, before Friday, that report would have, oh, my apologies, Chair. No, I was saying before Friday, that report will make sure that it is with the committee.
And you must take it to Copter National as well, because remember, they gave you the money. You are not responding to them on the actual spending to give them a report. Otherwise, they are going to have challenges with their auditors moving forward, because you need to also account to that money. So you just copy us, but send that report to Copter National. That's where the report is required.
No, Chairperson, let me confirm that we'll ensure that even our National Disaster Management Center get the necessary report. Like I said, they have reported to Treasury, so we'll just submit the same report if it has ever been submitted to our National Disaster Management Center. Thanks, Chairperson.
And the disaster management plan, HOD, and the buildings, my questions remains unanswered. HOD?
Yes, we do have the disaster. Chairperson?
You have one. There were issues that were raised with us in relation to the status, the building of the disaster management center. You remember the question I asked, including whether the province has got a plan in terms of Section 39 of the Disaster Management Act. I would have also expected HOD Mudau to also address that the plan that is as required in terms of Section 38 of the Disaster Management Act for the health portfolio.
Thanks, Chairperson. Yes, we do have plans, like the DG has indicated. Currently, the province is in the process of establishing the fusion center, where all the departments that are affected normally by natural disasters will be participating. It will be led by, obviously, by Cooperative as the custodian to the Disaster Management Act or of the Act to actually.
Is it there or you are planning to have it? That was the question.
No, the plan is there, but the fusion center.
For the whole province. For the whole province.
Yes, for the whole province, Chair.
Are you able to share that with us?
It will be part of the document that must get in terms of the report.
And then
I do not have it. I may not have it now with me, Chair, because I wasn't expecting that it would be required. But can we get intelligence from you and submit it tomorrow, the latest?
We're dealing with the disaster, then you were not expecting us to ask you a question about the plans.
No, I'm saying in terms of making it.
Okay, it's fine. Then the issue of your disaster center that is not in a good condition, what is your response to that? Because that is your responsibility as the HOD of COCT.
I agree fully, Chair. That is why I said, if you recall, the DG indicated that the province will be having a fusion center. Now, the fusion center will be addressing exactly the same issues that were raised. We confirmed that our disaster management center is not in a good space. It's not, in a good working environment for employees. So that is the only way we could actually alleviate that type of a problem, by establishing the fusion center. I think we have decided on where it should be, and the building has been identified. It's just the program to kick off the ground.
Do you have a time frame to that effect?
Of the fusion center?
Yeah, time frame.
It's an ongoing work, but we can also provide the report to say when will the actual work take off the ground.
We need that because disasters strike us all the time. It can't be an open-ended matter. Can you deal with that and give us a practical time frame? Because that has been the frustration of the team nationally, of you as a province not responding or not complying. Can you make that commitment?
We commit on record, Chair, that we'll make sure that we provide the time frame in relation to the establishment of the fusion.
HOD Health, the disaster plan as required by Section 38 of the Disaster Management Act. I didn't hear you commenting on that as well. Can I get your feedback to that effect?
Chairperson, thank you very much. My apologies, I did not respond to that one. The plan is there for the department, and as HOD Muketi was indicating, we are working together with COCTA in terms of making sure that we deal comprehensively with any disaster that may be facing the province or the country, as it were. So we will submit that, Chairperson.
When you are saying you are working together with HOD Mukiti, because in your case also, apart from the one that is the province-wide, provided for in terms of Section 39 of the Disaster Management Act, yourself also as a department, Section 38 of the Act dictates that you must have such, that must cover all your epidemics, like you've got COVID-19. There can be corona, there can be any other epidemic. Deal with your infrastructure, your emergency medicine, EMS, etc. You know, I'll always give an example of hospitals that will get flooded. And then without that report plan, how are you going to respond? Here in my home province, we have one situation that happened in Tavasindi municipality. So for you to just tell us you are working with, we know there must be an overall multidisciplinary plan for the province, but for you in particular, is there one that addresses
Yes,
all the issues I've raised?
yes, Chairperson, my apologies. Maybe I was not very clear in that regard. I was intending to say, or I was trying to say, yes, there is, in as far as the Department of Health is concerned, but we also are working with COPTA as the custodian of disaster management, as it were. But for the department, yes, as Chairperson has already referred to incidences like your other outbreaks, EMS disaster and all that. Yes, there is a plan that we will provide. We will just adjust it accordingly and provide.
Okay. Colleagues, can I see who wants to make follow-ups? I'd already noted Kaiser. Then it's who else? Kalipi. Who else wants to make a follow-up? Lutuli. Is it only the three of you who wants to make follow-ups? Yes, let's do that in that order. Kaizam, Kalipi, then Lutuli.
Thank you very much, Chair. With regards to that question about artists and those who were not approved, I have a follow-up on that because I didn't get a sense of how many of those who were disapproved, the 360, with a value of 2.1 million, were sculptures that were declined, were musicians, were dancers, were writers and so forth. Can you give us a more detailed report in terms of who, and because I don't get a sense of why you just become very, very insensitive to artists like that. So I then went on, Chair, to ask, what prioritization measures do you have in place to prioritize the up-and-coming artist over the already established artist? What prioritization measures do you have? And with regards to that question of the checks, thank you very much for clarifying the amount. I will then delve into the details of maths as to as you are giving me the figures, the correct figures. What measures did you put in place to ensure what did you what method do you use to relocate each household? How are households identified, considering the fact that when people live in a particular place, they live with their families, that's one. So you are going to relocate them away from the day-to-day running of their lives. And then number two, from their activities to run their livelihood. As you know that there is massive unemployment in the province. What considerations did you put in place to relocate the people? Chairperson, I want to go to Coxstar again, and with regards to Dihlabeng local municipality, on allegations of whether they can clarify the allegations to us once again, and whether there are investigations that were done with regards to the following. One, the allegations about selling municipal assets by the executive mayor of Dihlabe and practicing nepotism for self-enrichment. You would know that in City Press there was an article.
Honorable Leza,
Yes.
can you reserve that you deal with it in the next presentation, please? What is? Can we focus on the COVID-19 questions now, please? We're almost done. We're going to go to the next presentation now. Ne? Please.
Okay.
Thank you. Honorable Mkalipi.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. On the follow-up that I was talking about in terms of artists, maybe let us just rephrase it, Chair, by saying that if the Free State Department, if they can finish this committee with the list of artists who benefited, so it can help a lot. And then the second one, the HOD of health, as per the MEC, he didn't elaborate on the COVID-19 Virginia case, the one that I was referring to. The MEC just elaborated on the fact that it was not her who was doing that interview, which that member of the society is complaining about the way he was insulted, but he believed that it was the MEC. You know, our people, they don't know who is who. They just been told that this is a person from the department. And if the MEC can do the honors and get that interview and go and meet with that person, because the name of the MEC and the department and the government as a whole is dented because of the person who was representing the department. But in terms of the presentation that we received here on how to do or to deal with the COVID-19, to prevent the spread of the COVID-19, so therefore, I think also we should also expand on that fact to say that if there is no clear explanation as how that family was declared a COVID-19 body, but there was no follow-up in terms of testing in the family, and it means that the province is failing to that regard. If the COVID body will be declared that, no, this body is COVID-19, but there's no testing in the family, and in terms of the regulation, the body was not covered because it's supposed to be covered with those typical plastic bags in order to prevent the spread of the virus. So that was not the case in that family, hence it is an issue. And on the issue of the primary school, I hear the chief director, what he's saying, but I don't think it can be satisfied in this committee. If 15 teachers can be fired in one school, and the chief director of education comes and just flush it off here and say to these committees, because those teachers were paid by the SGB, and because the parents couldn't pay during the COVID-19, and therefore there's no evidence that suggests that those teachers were fired on the basis of they were fighting corruption whatsoever. So therefore, the best way is to be told by the department that since we raised this issue in the committee, they are going to make sure they investigate what is the really issue there. You can't just brush it off as if what is reported to you is well and good. It must be a cause for concern. And I remember time and again, Chairperson, the Department of Basic Education has been saying to parents, even if kids are not attending the school, but they must pay the school fees. I remember that there was that outcry in the country. Parents are saying, but the kids are sitting at home, but we are still told that you must pay, because of the fact that even if teachers are paid by the school governing body, so the parents must continue paying. So there is a role that must be played by the Department of Education. And it can't be as business as usual, whereby 15 teachers are losing their job, especially during COVID-19, and the department is not doing anything. So I'm not satisfied with that answer. So I'll strongly propose that the department must go and investigate the real reason of why these teachers were fired and come back with the report in this committee. Lastly, Chair, there's someone who's sending me on Twitter to say that I must ask the DG that there's a place called Reader Park in Machabeng. They don't have an electricity. And by the look of things, the company has pulled out, the company that was identified to do that electricity in the area in 2019. So they are listening, our people are listening, are watching on TV. So they want the DG to provide answers in that regard. They don't have electricity in that area. The last one, Chair, is this thing of the 350 rand. I heard the MC of Social Development, who's the acting premier, telling us what is the criteria, but it looked like the problem is bigger or is bigger. Is not what the MEC was explaining, that the person just apply and get rejected because he's receiving a UIF. People are coming back to us saying that I was last time when I was getting something in terms of to say that I was working. It was 2016. I have not received any money from Labor Department, but the system have rejected me. And I have also talked to the CEO of SASA in the national office, and there is no clear answer on what is needed from people. Because when I get a feedback from a person who has been rejected when applying for 350, the CEO keep on saying, no, that person must keep on applying. They must keep on applying until the system accepts them. So there's no clear direction. So the MEC must able to assist us in this committee. I know that it could be something else at a provincial level and at a national level, but unfortunately, there's only one number that the whole South Africa, they must use in terms of WhatsApp and calling. So therefore, even if they go to SASA offices in district level, so it's very easy for them to be told that no, this thing you must go and apply in the system. There's a number that is put by the national department. But I'm saying that is not true what the MEC is describing as one of the reasons why people are not getting these 350s. So we need some information to this regard because people are frustrated in terms of the application of the 350. Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you, Honorable Mkalipi. Honorable Lutuli?
Thank you, Chair. The Minister, when I was asking the question of the breakdown, which I gave it to her, he says only the SASA knows about it. But I'm not satisfied, as Honorable Mkalipi alluded to now, on that relief fund, because I have given her a breakdown by saying that those people I'm talking about, it's 784, and 60 were rewarded, and 442 was declined. She said to me, SASA, only SASA in the national, which I'm not satisfied, Chair. Thank you very much.
Yes, I hear you, Ndabizita and Honorable Mkalipi. Maybe to sum it all, as the two of you are saying it, there are minimax that are being held in between. And I think minimax are meant to also deal with the issues that makes provinces not to deliver on the mandate that are the competency of the national department. Because the issues as raised MEC acting premier, what are you, because you have seen these are problems and they are affecting the people in the area of jurisdiction where you are operating as an MEC. Because I want to also couple it with the issue of this 350. My understanding, this 350 were about to bring dignity to our people. But you move around, you see the queues in the post offices, how this thing is being mismanaged. to say whatever decision was taken that these people must get the money at the post office. You move around, you find some queues, they go so long. These are the most vulnerable people. For them to get the 350, it costs them their human dignity. It was winter, now it's summer. It's very hot in some of the areas. Was there no any other mechanism that will maybe, if you can even allow them to get the money in the supermarkets like what the recipient of patient grants get the money, than to send them in the post office, because the situation is so bad. These are the issues that you should be raising at your Minimax. The other issue that I wanted to raise, I've dealt with it as I opened this meeting with regard to the quarantine sites. I want to understand what is the province expenditure trend on quarantine sites. What value for money is this yielding, considering that majority of these quarantine sites across the province are virtually empty? And these are either guest houses, natural resources, resorts, or private lodge, as depicted in your slide 25 of the presentation. Definitely, there's been service level agreement signed, monies are being paid, but there's no value for money, maybe because of the mere fact that they're not occupied. I want you to comment on that one, because definitely those guest houses, the private lodges that you secured, you must be paying something on a daily basis. So that's the feedback that I want to know in terms of the expenditure trend, because I don't see it actually coming in the present in the expenditure. How much are you paying, as you have put it there on slide 25? You also check on slide 25 of your report. You also allude to the fact that the province is facing challenges in relation to the implementation of your various COVID-19 related intervention due to the inter-provincial traveling in neighboring countries. But I'm asking myself, how is this possible? Because the ban has been there up until recently on inter-provincial travel, and the current ban, and it only came in now with the level 2. That's where it was relaxed. But and the current ban on international travel is still there. So I would like to understand that, to get the link on what you are saying vis-a-vis the reasons that one has raised. So basically that's what one wants clarity on. I can hand over to you, Acting Premier and the delegation. AG, you want to start first?
Yeah, Chair.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you very much again for questions. Matters that members have directed that we do further investigation, we will do that. I think education will look at this matter of fauna deeper and try to also get the other side. But the issue was then to try and prioritize learning and teaching to take place. We will definitely look at that. We will submit a report on the criteria that was used to deal with artists, athletes, and all those that fell in that category of arts and culture from the Provincial Fund, in terms of how we were able to adjudicate with an education team that was set up by the department, and those that were disqualified. That report will be made available to the committee secretary by end of business tomorrow, Chairperson. Our quarantine sites have basically been government lodges, as you'd see, but there are instances basically when we started, because a lot of government lodges were to be put to speed, to be at a level where people will be comfortable. to find themselves in. So we had to spend money to try and upgrade some of those lodges. And in the process, we used private lodges. I think the overall expenditure from our first cases of quarantine up to now has been up to close to 5.6 million rand, which will also involve your private quarantine sites. But we scaled down a lot. This could have been much higher. We had to use, if you can see numbers there are in Philip Sanders, it's ours, Sandrefir, Harib Dam. There's a number of others centers that we are using now are actually government centers which are used as quarantine sites. Although from time to time, and we've tried our level best, especially with the frontline workers, the health professionals, that we try to keep them as comfortable as possible as they recover, given that most of them would have been infected at a work environment, although others might have come with this thing from outside. So we've tried our level best to balance that. We could not sustain this issue. At the beginning, we were also affected a lot by bigger numbers coming out of Lesotho, which were treated as the repatriates. And the Free State was to provide for them until such time that we were able to then agree with National Public Works that they will take the cost. But by the time they started taking cost of international repatriates coming from Lesotho, we had already paid a lot of money to keep them for the 14 days period in the Free State and so on. So we are balancing our books with the National Department of Public Works, where we are doing interdepartmental claims. It may reduce our costs significantly, because really, in terms of their responsibilities, the international repatriates were their responsibilities. Our responsibility was to deal with our own people in the province that got infected. Chairperson, some of the clusters emerged through people that were thriving through Free State, even during hard lockdown, where you have, and I think, no, at level 4, where you had quite a number of trucks starting to move, where the economy was slightly open, moving out and in of Lesotho, moving across borders. Some emerged, some of these things emerged even from the filling stations and so on. So when we assess our clusters, we are saying some of these issues, especially during level 3, were actually brought about by interprovincial travel, not on a bigger scale, but also including people that were coming from funerals. If you look at what we accounted for in the Val, what we accounted for in around area of Alval North, Ruvel, where a lot of cases were emerging from officials of the correctional services. Some of them are coming from various towns in the Eastern Cape, and they come into the Free State. They then are accounted for here and so on. So that is practically what we are talking about in terms of the effect of interprovincial travel. And it created a lot of local transmissions, even in areas such as Harib, where in Betul just a local transmission emerged out of cases that were people that were coming from the funeral. And it just emerged like that in a small district like Harib. So that is what we meant by what we mean by that. Honorable Mkalipi, I will take the issue of Reader Park in Velcom. We will investigate. I'm sure the HOD Cocta is listening. He will provide us with information. We will also send to Secretariat around the issue of Reader Park about the contract that was supposed to do connection. The Reader Park is actually an area within town, and if it is not able to access electricity, then there must be a problem. We will try to establish, it's not an informal settlement, we'll try to establish what could actually be the cost, and then we will provide information with regard to that. Chair, that's basically how far I can go. The 350 MEC Kabati, our acting premier, might want to refer to, or I see HOD, acting HOD, Human Settlement would like to raise one issue around the harassment again, as brought about by Honorable Kaiser. And then the acting premier will then conclude by indicating how they are dealing with this matter of the 350 at Minmac level. Mr. Swahili?
Thank you, DG. Thank you, Chairperson. Chairperson, there's a follow-up question from Honorable Keza on what method did we use to relocate these beneficiaries. We would like to state for the record, Honorable Chair, that the municipality presented a waiting list to the department, which was verified against the National Housing Needs Register that is being administered by National Department of Human Settlement. The list was then taken for initial searches, and the result thereof was these approved beneficiaries. The amount that we initially indicated, that is 22,380, is inclusive of the relocation of these beneficiaries from Selahliwe to Lindam Kondo, Honorable Chair. We'll further want to state, Honorable Chair, that there was a social facilitation done by the municipality with beneficiaries, and the end result thereof is confirmation letters that were received and from these beneficiaries, and they have signed them. Thank you, Honorable Chair. Just one thing in addition, Honorable Chair, relocation of these beneficiaries, it is within a radius of 3 kilometers. Their lives have not changed. Honorable Chair, thank you very much.
Thank you. HOD Copter, are you fine? I see you.
Yes, Chair. If you would recall, there was also a question for Copter. That's the one I want to respond to. Chairperson, on the Readers Park, Velcom, it's an electrification problem. Also, it's funded under INEP. So the problem with Machabeng local municipality is that there were about 250 million deviations that were concluded. And then through our intervention of Section 106, we have been able to determine some of the things that have happened. So one of the criteria was to say, we need to investigate all the constructions that were appointed through deviations, because some of the bill of quantities that were received were way above the norm. And that's one of the areas that needed to be investigated as per the request of council. We assisted the municipality by appointing a service provider, a team of engineers, to go and verify some of the claims that were lodged. And that is why some of the projects are actually not proceeding under Machabeng, because we're afraid that they will continue to pay contractors that have been appointed illegitimately. So that's one of the areas that we're focusing on. And we'll provide a report, Chairperson, on this one specifically, including other projects that constituted the deviations in the municipality to the tune of 250 million. A preliminary report on Section 106 has been given to the MEC. The work is still continuing. We will definitely ensure that we provide the entire holistic report about our findings in Machabeng local municipality. You would be aware that Section 106 requires us also, even before we make any report public, to actually table before council and the executive council of the province. And then we'll be able to supply the committee with a detailed report of what actually transpired there. Thanks. On the issue of Ditlhabeng, I think we've also seen those allegations as the department. However, there has never been a formal report sent to us. We were intending to look at those issues and investigate them, but the issue of lockdown also contributed to some of these things. But through the alert level 2, officials will be going, because some of these things need us to go to the municipality physically and verify the allegations. We can't, unfortunately, do them through electronic means. So that is the reason why the work has not started. But we are aware of those allegations, even though we became aware of them through social media and the other form of media. Thanks, Chair.
HOD, yes.
Yes, thank you very much, Chairperson. Just to quickly indicate that the question that was raised by Honorable Member Mkalipi, we did indicate that unfortunately myself and the MEC were not part of that, but we've made an undertaking that we will investigate situation, and we'll be able to then correct it and report to the committee.
Okay. I think we are done. Any MEC who wants to say something before I hand over to the acting premier so that we close up on this item and deal with the next item? If your HODs have covered you, it's okay. And the DG, it looks like it's that. Acting premier, the last ones that you said you must deal with. The 350 meter and all the other, yes, there are a lot of them. Sure.
Thank you very much, Chair. Chair, on all other outstanding matters, we will give a written report. And any other issue that may not have been clearly explained, we will give a written report. Chair, on the 350, I feel that the committee is unfair. Because this is a direct responsibility of the National Department of Social Development together with SASSA. It is unfair, Chair, to expect us to have a full information on issues that we are not directly dealing with, particularly when the members of this committee have said that we are under oath. I can give information as much as I am giving it, but can't account on issues that are happening at national level. And we have been helping on the 350 Chair. The thing is, some of the people that we have been helping to apply, particularly those that would not have access to the phones and what, we've been going to farming communities, helping people who are living in farms to apply for the 350. But the challenge is the answer does not come to the Department of Social Development in the province. The response goes to the beneficiary. And yes, we have been engaging, and that's why ultimately the Department of Social Development at national level has said that it will go and look again into all those that did not qualify. What happened? It is because of a fight that was put by provinces that how can so many people not qualify? And we were also advancing the complaints that were coming to us in the province. Therefore, it is unfair, Chair, to insinuate that I am lying to the community or to the committee or what, when I am explaining that amongst others, amongst a plethora of reasons that are given, these are some of them that we were given, that these are the things that made people not to qualify for the 350 grant. So I feel that really the comments are unfair when one is trying to give the information as much as we can. And yes, we are sitting in Minmex, and that's where we are fighting over these issues. That's why, like I said, they will be looked back into a chair. Any other matter, Chair, we will respond in writing to the committee.
Okay. I think let's then switch off to the next item. That's section 139, intervention. Normally, this is the decision of the provincial executive. Yes, that's the decision. The constitution says the provincial executive. That it means yourself as the premier and all the MECs take decision to place municipalities under administration. But we ourselves as a committee, we've observed a trend. We had an interaction with the Department National Helicopter, and then the blame is solely referred back to the provinces to say, because what is happening here, there's in all municipalities, that in most majority of the municipalities where there's been intervention, the matters get worse. Instead of the intervention assisting the municipalities, you find the matters getting worse. I'll give you a classical example. In the morning, we dealt with your Malutia municipality. When yourselves as a province and the National Department Copter intervened in this municipality in 2018 February, ESCOM's debt was 3.2 million. And since the intervention, that has then increased to 5.3 million. Whereas in terms of your intervention, you were informed by 4 reasons. I'm giving you a classical example by Maloti Perform. You wanted to deal with the financial management failures, and then that had to deal with failure to adhere to meet their financial obligations, third-party payments, etc., breaches of the MFMA, and then like the municipality had written a lot of amounts without following due processes. The second item in Maluti Perform was around governance failures, like council was not meeting and it was not even to place oversight. The other issue in Maluti Perform was around institutional development, like there was no PMS, organogram was bloated, and there were numerous litigation and labor unrest. And then the third one was, the fourth one was service delivery, because the municipality has been failing to deliver, provide sustainable water and electricity. They couldn't maintain their roads. They couldn't then also collect their refuse. So those were the reasons why yourself as the provincial exco took a decision to intervene, to invoke the provision 139. But if you look at that particular classical one municipality, nothing has improved. And you look at the AG's reports, the reports are really bad. But this is happening while there's intervention in the municipality. So that's why then we have interacted with the department. We took a decision that we need to then interact with yourselves on this matter. So I'll hand over to the MEC for Copter to quickly deal with the presentation. It was part of the same report that we were dealing with. There was part B of the report, so that then we can quickly dispose of this matter. Colleagues would raise questions, and then towards the end, the acting premier will also have to say something, because this is a PEC decision. You take decision to put these municipalities under administration, but the output we are seeing, situations, then it becomes worse than they were before. Over to you, MEC.
Thanks, Chairperson. Thanks very much, Chairperson. I think the HOD can lead our presentation of 139. In the Free State, we've got 4 municipalities that are under 139. We've had in the past the ones that are out of 139, and from where I stand, Chair, there's been notable progress. That's why we had to take them out of 139. And I think the report will illustrate in depth on the conditions that are prevailing currently. And the same example, if you allow me, Chairperson, to use it, of Malutia Pufu. On the sixth administration taking over, you would remember, Chairperson, that there was huge instability in Malutia Pufu politically, where we even had to go through a process of by-elections of about 15 wards. And that process on its own, with the time bound, to a large extent created serious instability in that municipality. The municipality at the time when we went there, especially during that time, was on the brink of being dissolved. It could not pass a budget. The budget was passed on the last day, and the provincial government, having dedicated me to interact with all parties, we were successfully able to avert that process. With this intensive interaction with all political parties. In fact, the day was on Sunday when it was done. And that, to a large extent, restored the political stability in the area. And the subsequent process towards that was a rigorous election campaigning by all other political parties, which to a large extent affected the functionality of the municipality. And after the process of elections in the municipality, you then saw a stability politically in the municipality. After the election of the mayor, the speaker, the chief whip, and members of the mayoral committee and chairpersons of Section 8 and Section 9, Section 79 committees, the municipality is now back functional. Political leadership is leading that municipality to an extent that all committees are sitting, reports are prepared, Section 71 reports are written and are submitted. And council now is sitting as expected, and there is no hullabaloo now on the council. So that's political stability. And the other issue, Chair, was that there was erratic strikes by union in that municipality. Through the intervention and the successful persuasion of the trade union movement, they are now working closely with the administration. And that has brought stability in the municipality. And the other issue, Chair, there was a series of plethora of protests in that area, which have subsided drastically down. And the only notable one would be at a time when there was a demand for water, which on the intervention of the National Minister, Umamu Sulu, and the Premier of the Free State, Umeman Ntombela, we've been able to restore water to that area. And people are receiving water, even though to a certain extent due to theft of the valves and aging infrastructure, we've had numerous breakages and leakages, which are attended to by Sidibeng Water, MAP Water, and now the Council of Geoscience have also had a new innovation in the area where they've found a lot of water underground. They are in the process of putting in now a contractor to be able to assist the community. We're still processing with the tankering in some instances. So that intervention, to a large extent, has helped the community and is a notable progress. The improvement on the infrastructure is still a challenge. Of course, you have 9 wastewater treatment plants in that area, and 7 of them are not functional. And part of our sin is to also pollute the Val River. And that we discussed and raised the issues with one of the meeting with the Deputy President, where we were explaining ourselves and our challenges to that effect. And so the matter was receiving attention. So on other issues, Chair, is that we were expected to fill the vacancies of Section 56 and 57. We've completed that work on the MM and the CFO, and the process of the technical director is underway. So to a large extent, those issues are being attended to. You have a relative stability in the municipality. Of course, it is not out of the wood because it has been riddled with a lot of problems for a very long time. So to rebuild it and start the process affairs require us to work closely with the municipality. And that's why we are supporting the municipality even today. On the finances, the municipality has not been able to a large extent to have sufficient revenue. You would know that part of the revenue collection measures of the municipality will be your electricity, water, and other services. And to a large extent, people have not been paying. There's illegal connection of electricity, even by some industries that were found out. And the municipality is working on them to ensure that they formalize those processes, and ultimately those people they pay. There's illegal connection even of water. So we have that serious problem, and it is bedeviling the municipality in terms of its financial stability. But they've been able to pay third parties, especially pensions of workers, medical aid of workers, and they are still having some certain debts with other creditors. So the municipality, it is relatively on a right path. That's where, from my stand, honorable members, I can still be corrected. But I've been working closely with that municipality, and I'm at a point where I know where it comes from, I know where it is now, and I'm fully aware of the progress moving forward. So that has helped. The one other municipality that was taken out of 139 is Masilonia. And that also we saw a tremendous progress. My view, Chair, is that 139 to a large extent does not solve the debts. It creates a conducive environment for municipality to enable it to attend to its responsibilities. The municipalities must run on their own. The 139 is a short intervention aimed at rekindling the functionality of the municipality in all respects. And once you have established that conducive environment, you are at a point where you can move forward and be able to work with them closely. So that's where we are with COCTA. But I would like to invite the HOD to take us through the presentation, if you allow, Chairperson, with your indulgence, so that we are able to respond to issues as raised by the Chair. Thank you very much.
HOD, over to you.
Thanks, Chair. Because I'm working from the hard copy, may I request that I switch off my camera and then continue to present. On the same breath, we are not in the position to flight our presentation. I'm not sure if anyone from the Secretariat will be able to assist us with the presentation. It's a very voluminous one, but one will try. This one is part A. If you want me to present the part A, it can still be done. But I thought you wanted the report on section 139, which report comprises of 4 municipalities, and it's part B of the presentation. I'm not sure, but what I see here on the screen, it's part A.
So let's go to part B. Part B.
Chair, am I allowed to switch off the camera?
Yes, you are, because you are saying you have got challenges.
Thanks, Chair.
But don't disappear.
No, I won't, Chair.
Okay, that's better. Even your sound now is much better. Are we winning to get part B on the same presentation, please? It has been a long day. Let's try it. You can be talking on it. Members have got it on the, it was sent to them.
Okay. No, thanks, Chair.
The person who's flighting the presentation will be able to catch us. Where are we?
Okay. No, thanks, Chair. Chair, good evening to members again. The layout of our presentation covers the 4 municipalities. That's the Mangaung Metro, Mafube Local Municipality, Metsimaholo, Maluti-Aphofung, even though in our presentation, we did indicate that the Executive Council has resolved to withdraw the intervention from Maluti-Aphofung and replace it with the post-intervention support. We will also reflect on the questions that were asked around Maluti-Aphofung, like the MEC has actually alluded to. The first municipality being the Mangaung Metro. Chairperson, I do not necessarily have to go to the background. You would recall that the municipality, just after local government elections, started to experience a decline in the revenue collection. And then we also experienced an exodus of various managers in the municipality, which has resulted in the decline in terms of the financial management of the municipality, to a point where the Deputy Minister of Treasury wrote to the Premier and requested that Mangaung Metro be placed under Section 139, subsection 5, A, B, or C. The province had those 3 options. However, the Executive Council then resolved to opt for Section 139, subsection 5, A, and C. A, primarily, Chair, deals with voluntary financial intervention, and then B deals with the dissolution of the municipality, and C deals with the mandatory financial recovery plan. The team was identified and was deployed in the municipality, and that is on slide 4. And those are the names of the team members who were actually identified in the municipality. Let me also indicate, Chair, that just after COVID.
Colleagues, can I check with you? The presentation is now flighted. Can we all see it? Yes.
Yes, proceed. I can see it, Chair.
Yeah, let's proceed.
Yes, Chair. I was indicating that the team was identified as the names that appear there on the screen. And we will elaborate why we opted for this team. For instance, among the team members, we had Mr. Musaso, who was the previous Chief Financial Officer, Messi Singh, who's the Accountant General, Medine Mukhoseng, who is a manager responsible for municipal performance and monitoring in COCTA, and Advocate Mufuge. Now, the team then divided themselves in 4 or 5 areas, being governance and administration, service delivery, and financial management, being under the responsibility of Mr. Musaso and Messi Singh. Let me also indicate that the fact that Mr. Musaso was the CFO who worked during the time when the team performed so well prior to the local government election in 2016, we thought that he will come up with the skill that will help us identify what are actual problems in the municipality. And then also the Accountant General, because she's been dealing with the AG in terms of the audit steering committee. So she has extensive experience on how we can identify some of the problems so that we come up with an intervention plan. Chairperson, on slide 7, we are further indicating that once the team has started, there was a problem in relation to the terms of reference, which the municipal manager felt that, or the city manager felt that the terms of reference were more encroaching on his powers as an accounting officer of the municipality. The terms of reference were agreed to by the provincial government after the inputs were made by COCTA, Provincial Treasury, including National Department of Treasury and COCTA. And then they were duly appointed by, approved by the Executive Council. But later then the municipality indicated its reservation regarding that. And that matter was actually brought to the attention of the state law advisors to actually indicate or advise us on whether our terms of reference as approved by the Executive Council were consistent with the Constitution. And the state law advisors indicated to us that there were a number of areas that were inconsistent with the Constitution, including the Municipal Finance Management Act, and as a result, they had to be reviewed. So we have actually since sent an item to the Executive Council where we brought this matter to their attention, and then with the view that we've got to review them because the template has already been developed by the state law advisors. On slide number 9, we are further indicating that ever since the intervention, we are consistently receiving the reports by the intervention team. However, the first report that was tabled before the Executive Council, Treasury had the reservation in terms of how that report was presented. And we had our own war room meeting where we were dealing with the issues on how best to improve on the reporting. And that matter was actually addressed because the template was made available by National Treasury. Chair, as part of the report on slide 10, we are indicating or reporting that the other areas that have been raised even by the Auditor General himself were capital budget procurement plan. The municipality does not have or did not have at that time the capital budget procurement plan, which then necessitated the team to sit down and then draft that plan. And I can indicate that the plan is there. It has also been approved by National Treasury as a plan that will then guide procurement around capital project in the municipality. One of the areas which form part of the financial recovery plan is cash management. The municipality, had the outstanding creditors of 642.8 million. And the team, upon starting with their work, they were able to reduce the outstanding creditors to a value of 577 million. Chair, the progress also, the same goes of what the team has been able to do under irregular and authorized expenditure, slide number 12. Number 13, Chair, they have also been able to deal with the issues of irregular, unauthorized, and fruitless expenditures, because the tendency in the municipality was that these matters were not investigated, and then there was no audit action plan. But the team has been able to formulate one with the help of both national and provincial treasury. Chair, if you look at slide number 14, you look at the unauthorized expenditure. In this very presentation, we're demonstrating that in 2010-2011 financial year, for instance, the unauthorized expenditure was standing at 68 million. And then the following year, there was an increase of 307 million, which resulted in a total of 375. And the figures go on like that, Chair. But however, after 2017-18, the municipality through MPEC report considered the writing of the total amount of 4.4 billion. But however, in 2018-19, there was further an increase of the unauthorized expenditure, which the team is now currently investigating and then trying to present the report together with impact for council to take a decision on what measures to take. You will see in subsequent slides, we are indicating and the monies that the municipality has also recovered. So that is, this presentation covers both slide 14 and 15, Chair. And then on slide 16, that's where we're indicating under fruitless and wasteful expenditure that these are the sequences of an increase in the fruitless and wasteful expenditure. But however, after 2017-18 financial year, an amount of 12 million was recovered. Now there's still an outstanding of about 70 million, which MPEC is also dealing with. And as soon as the municipal council has adopted the recommendation of MPEC, The subsequent reports will indicate what is the progress under the fruitless and wasteful expenditures. Now, one of the key things that the team had to look at was to review all the outsourced contracts to check whether they are market related and whether some of those outsourced services were necessary to be outsourced. And the report has actually been tabled to that effect, which indicates the areas. Even though some of the service providers from the outsourced services have actually taken the municipality to court, but we have also engaged the municipality to say, where possible, where they think they have got a strong case after having analyzed some of the legal processes, we will encourage them to actually apply for stay of some of the litigation so that they can be well investigation, and that period in terms of the MFMA can be a period of about 3 months. But however, we must also be mindful, Chairperson, that as we explore that provision of the law, if there's anything positive or concrete that are coming up with, all the service providers who may have been suspended or whose payments have been stayed as a result of the court order may then bring an interest which might further exacerbate the matter in terms of the financial affairs of the municipality. I think on slides 19, 20, Chair, we're indicating the areas of problem around the financial management. And these are the concepts that are included in the financial recovery plan. So, Chair, I will request your indulgence not to go through the rest of other things, but go to the second presentation about the second municipality, which is Mafube, if you allow me, Chair.
Yes, proceed. Proceed.
Thanks, Chair. In Mafube, Chair, there have been serious problems there. The first slide will indicate what the audit outcome has been as far as Mafube local municipality is concerned. From 2013 up to 2017-18 financial year, the municipality has been receiving disclaimer. And you would recall that in terms of the Auditor General's report, this one municipality that has also not been able to submit their financial statement on time. If you look at the next slide, Chair, you will see also we have got the legends there, A representing the recurring aspects of the audit findings, and then X, those that are not recurring. But if you look at 2016-17 and 17-18, all the issues that have been raised by the AG have been recurring for all those two respective financial years. On the next slide, we are indicating what the team has been able to actually find, and then what are the issues that the AG has actually been raising. Of the 14 qualification paragraphs, there has been insufficient supporting documents as one of the serious problem. And the other matter that the committee may be aware of was the issue around the payment of the municipal manager, who then paid himself an amount close to 3 million, which in essence was 2.9 million. The matter has been attended to, and as we speak, the municipal manager is no longer in the employ of the municipality, but measures are in place to try and recover some of the overpayment in terms of the amount or annual remuneration package. The matter was also before the Court of Law, and the department, together with the municipality, has been able to successfully defend, because after he had resigned, he then filed an unfair dismissal case with the Labour Court, which we have been, like I said, have been successful in terms of defending up to the level of the Labour Appeal Court. And there are costs attached, which must also be covered from the municipal manager. The audit action plan, as slide number 43, has also been finalized with the help of National Treasury by appointing the company called PKF to deal with that. But because there have been serious problems in the municipality, the PKF, they are only focusing on 18 and 19 and 19 and 20. But the reality of the matter is that these matters must actually be investigated as way back as 2010, because they will give a progressive audit action plan in terms of addressing recurring matters or matters of history. But this matter is also receiving attention because it's a matter of financial resources to be able for us to do that. And that goes to slide number 44 and number 545 as well. On COVID expenditure, the municipality has received an amount of 447,000, which amount the municipality has currently followed the procurement in terms of procuring for COVID-related PPEs or equipment. The next slide, Chair, which is a critical slide that I want to actually a bit spend time on. The problem has always been a collection rate, even before COVID, vis-a-vis the high salary. There was a point where the salary bill of the municipality was only at 82%. And then we came in before we even invoked Section 139, Chair. And the decision we took through the report to the Executive Council was such that if anyone exit the system in the municipality, either through natural attrition or through resignation or dismissal, those vacancies must not be filled, but the redundant staff must actually be deployed with a clear employment equity and training, program on how to pass skills to them so that they're able to do the functions that were performed by employees who may have exceeded the system. And I can confirm that the situation has since been improved and the municipality currently stands at 54% in terms of the salary bill. However, you look at this slide, Chairperson, you will see that in January 2019, for instance, that was before COVID, the municipality's billing was 9 million, but they were only able to collect 1.4 billion, which represent about 16%. So that is the trend that has been going on until May this year, and I'm sure from March, the situation has further been exacerbated by COVID-19. As you would see, the collection was between 8% in March and April, 6%. The next slide, Chair, also deals with the issues that affect the collection. The other problem there is the aging infrastructure, including the water meters. But there's a process to try and replace the water meters with the help of the Department of Water and Sanitation. Of the 20,000 water meters that are there in all the towns of Mafube, 43 or 4,360 of those water meters are defective. And then you would understand if you have that number of water meters being defective. So there's a chance of you not collecting any revenue as far as those meters are concerned. The municipality is 80% grant reliant, because you would know, Chair, that most municipalities rely on the sales of electricity to generate revenue. So the municipality entered into a rural maintenance contract, which has further exacerbated the matters because the municipality is only getting the royalties. So the matter is also receiving attention because we are working closely with the state law advisors to see, even though the chances of getting out of the contract are very slim, but there are other measures to see how best to renegotiate the contract, because it is actually milking the municipality its own revenues. The other area, Chair, on slide 48, we're indicating that part of the problems, in fact, for slide 49, 48 and 49, part of the problems in the municipality are the litigations. The municipality currently is faced with the litigation lost by the pension fund, SARS also, and a number of service providers. Like, for instance, on the pension fund, the municipality has not been able to pay for the third-party payments. But ever since the intervention, the current third-party payments are done consistently, because we have actually, as the department, assisted the municipality with a salary payment from 2017-18 financial year, but for only 2 months, and then only 18-19 financial year, including this year. So that's how they have been able to keep up with the payment of third-party obligation. Slide 49 indicates, Chair, I don't necessarily have to go that, the debtors' performance, the state being one of them, and then commercial, it's 1.1 billion that has got about 30 days, households, close to 5 billion. So in total, the municipality for 180 days has a debtors book, age analysis, of 587 million. You can imagine what difference will that amount of money actually make in terms of the sustainability of the municipality, Chair. So those are some of the critical challenges that have actually befallen the municipality. So we're also reflecting on the next slide, Chair, the creditors management. These are the creditors that are there in the municipality, and the total of those creditors is just slightly above 500 million. The next slide, we're indicating also which are the other creditors that the municipality has got debt with that are currently going ahead. Like I said, there's also issues in relation to pay as you earn, SARS, and pension fund. But other third parties like your medical aid and medical aid and insurances, we have actually advised that if the municipalities run short of cash, those are some of the things that must be prioritized, because if employees happen to get ill, there will be challenges in terms of taking them to the doctor, or if there's a funeral at any member of the municipality's family, there will be a problem in terms of burying either the deceased as employees of the municipality or their close members. So that's why you see there on the last bullet on the slide that the third parties are being paid, but only those ones that are have not been paid because of lack of enough cash injection to the municipality. We have also involved the services of CETA in terms of assisting municipality with the printing of municipal accounts, because it was one of the challenges. For the past 10 months, accounts have not been sent to consumers. And it has been a very serious problem, because even telephones, internet, website, nothing is actually working in the municipality. But with the strategy that the team has come up with, we will definitely see an improvement. But the improvement can only be seen if we are able to deal with the issue of rural maintenance. Unauthorized expenditure from 2011 to 2018 have amounted to 1.2 billion. So you will see, Chair, that the municipality is so small, but if it has this amount of money of unauthorized expenditure, it really is a problem, because you either must recover this or write it off if the investigation by the MPEC show that there will still be a necessity to write off or recover some. And the same goes with the regular expenditure, Chair. On the next slide, we dealing with the fruitless and wasteful expenditures from way as early as 2008 up to 2018, and those are the amounts reflected there. We also are indicating that there have been progress in a number of areas while the financial challenges are there, to investigate both the unauthorized and irregular expenditures. The previous report by the MPEC was actually rejected by the AGSA, and then Cooperative, together with Provincial Treasury, has started the process of forensic investigation so that they can assist the municipality. I can indicate that this process started way back, and the report is readily available. It's just that to be tabled before the Executive Council whenever the authorities are available to entertain such a report. And then the issues relating to consequences management is also been taken up front. Employees have been dismissed for fabricating the medical certificates, and others did not bank the deposit in terms of the rates amounts that were presented to the municipality. Issues relating to the unauthorized and irregular expenditures, the process of consequence management has started. Now, in terms of the institutional capacity, the position of the municipal manager is currently vacant, but however, we have, as part of the intervention, seconded officials to act in those positions. You know, part of the terms of reference of the administrator was to say he will, on a temporary basis, up until there's stability in the municipality, with our own resources, by deploying people there to go and act in certain positions so that we don't compromise service delivery. Of the processes in terms of conducting minimum competency assessment, 4 senior management processes have been completed, and 8 middle management completed. The 3 still outstanding. Other staff, 11, they have been included. So, Chair, let me also, because I have started by indicating what is the audit outcome of the municipality, can I then kindly then go to the third municipality, being Metsimaholo? May I kindly indicate, without necessarily having to go through the slide, just provide a summary on Metsimaholo, Chairperson, which I think are the issues that are quite relevant for and most important for the committee to be aware of, without necessarily having to go slide by slide, if you allow me, Chair. I'm just at your mercy to see if my request. Chair, in Metsimaholo, the problem there started after the local government election. You would recall previously the municipality was actually dissolved because they could not agree on a number of things. It was still a hung municipality. Even after the re-election, after dissolution, it still remained a hung municipality. And as a result, councillors could not agree on a number of areas. And in the main was around the appointment of senior managers in the municipality. Positions have been advertised 3 times to the level where the municipality has incurred an expenditure of more than 785 million through those adverts. And to us as the department, we viewed that as an unnecessary expenditure that could have been prevented had it not been because of the difference that
735 million or 735,000.
735,000.
Yeah, because you said million.
No, my apology. I'm talking from the head and the heart. So thanks for correcting me, Chair. It's much appreciated. Now, as a result, we realize that the municipality could have actually done better had it not been because of the misunderstandings that were there in council. And as a result, and many other things, because if you look at the IMAG expenditure, it was actually performing quite badly. And the issue also that you may be aware of the sports complex in Orangeville, that an expenditure has been incurred, but when you go there at the time, it was only the fence. And in terms of the expenditure incurred, you would be surprised, Chair, that that amount of money can only be spent for the fence, really. And this is one of the matters that is currently also before the Hawks to investigate and check exactly why such an expenditure when the work has not been done. And as a result, the MEC took an attempt to cancel the Provincial Executive Council, requesting that the municipality be placed under administration. But because the municipality had previously been dissolved, so we thought, let us rather give Section 1391B a chance and see if we can intervene on a number of areas. And the Executive Council on the 20th of February agreed with the intervention, which saw a number of officials being identified to lead the team, and others were then appointed to act in the positions where there were no managers. It's unfortunately to also report that one of the team members who acted as the head of corporate services, Mr. Belen Muliti, passed on due to COVID-related illness. May his soul rest in peace. So that is one of the vacancies, but the team has also looked at some of the employees internally, because part of the problems councillors were actually complaining about was that the provincial government has actually brought people there without considering internal people. But it was difficult for us to consider internal people in view of the fact that they were the ones who has actually created problems in the municipality. When you look especially on issues that affect the administration, leave alone the issues that are political. So we felt it's better that we bring in the new team. And if you look at one of the gazettes, it says that I can't quote it correctly now, Chair, it indicates that when we intervene in the municipality, the receiving municipality must actually bear the cost. But more often than not, when we intervene in the municipality, we realize that we intervene due to serious cash flow problems. And that's why, as department, we took the initiative to appoint people additional to our establishment so that they can go and execute some of this responsibility that we need to give as part of our support program in terms of Section 154 of the Constitution to this municipality. And these are the officials that were appointed in those respective positions. Now, the other area, when the MEC on the 20th had briefed the municipal council of the resolution of the executive council, and after the speaker had closed the meeting, the remaining other councillors decided to continue and call their own meeting, which was actually not consistent with some of the regulation, because in terms of the standing rules and orders, once the speaker has declared the meeting officially open, there's no one without the notice of the speaker who can then reconvene the council meeting. And in that reconvened illegal council meeting, that's when councillors took a decision to actually appoint managers that the court had previously declared unfit to hold position because of the allegations that were leveled against them. And that's when we then took some of those councillors to court, because that was the only way, because they had defied the decision of the executive council. And what we did also, the chairperson, was to actually take individual councillors to court, not them jointly, because there's a tendency of people doing wrong things and then later on the municipality to actually cover their cost whenever the ruling is made against them. So in these instances, we have actually ensured that those who oppose the processes will then have to bear the cost individually as councillors. And we have actually succeeded. We're still waiting for the outcome of that court case, but I can tell Chairperson, from the indication and the way facts were placed before the court of law, the ruling might come in the favor of the department. And that is a trend we will be following, unfortunately, throughout.
You're not sure what will be the outcome of the court. Don't do that.
Yes, how do you?
It comes at, not in favorable of you. What are you going to come and tell us? Just end it there. You are waiting the outcome of the court.
Let me withdraw that. But I must indicate that the statements was, out of.
It has happened to so many people what you are saying, and then they were surprised with the outcome.
My apologies. My apologies.
Sure.
Let me do that one. So I'm saying that is the trend that I think we will be following in a number of municipalities. You may have seen even during the day when we're dealing with Maluti-Apofu, elements of defiance that we got even from the administration that we have also brought to your attention through the supplementary report that we submitted today. So where we are being defied, especially where the Executive Council has taken a decision, the only best way to go will also be to go to the Court of Law to seek intervention in terms of what our responsibility provides according to the legislation. Chair, that is all under briefing under Mitimaholo. We have also indicated who is acting where now, and there was also the issue of the municipal manager, Mr. Mulala, where the municipality actually implemented the wrong disciplinary code and he took the matter to court, and the labor court agreed with him that the municipality was supposed to use financial misconduct charges. So the matter is currently receiving attention because part of the terms of reference to the team was to ensure that we fast track the issue of the disciplinary hearing against Mr. Mulala so that we get the outcome and have the matter finalized. Because as we speak, he is still benefiting in terms of the salary because you cannot do any other thing up until the matter has been finalized. So that is where we are at this stage. I thought it is important to also reflect on that part, Chairperson. The rest of other issues, I'm not sure if I have to reflect on in terms of Maluti-Apofu, Chair. We did engage on issues affecting Maluti-Apofu extensively, but I may also reflect on the question that you actually posed, Chairperson. Remember, Chairperson, when we intervened in Maluti-Apofu, as you correctly pointed out in 2018, it is because in 2017, there were certain items and elements of mismanagement that were brought to attention. One being the employment of employees called assistant general workers. So how can a general worker have an assistant? The number was 182, and then each of them was paid about 7,000. And that's when the provincial government then decided to intervene, because already at that time, the public was actually at loggerheads with the municipality, and there were various unrest. And the Executive Council then resolved to invoke Section 139, 1B there. And then we continue to do the work, even though after difficult circumstances, to the level where National Treasury also assisted to bring in and made the intervention to be a joint intervention between National Cooperative and Provincial Cooperative. And ever since then, that's when we realized a number of improvements in a number of areas. On the ESCOM debt, Chair, in 2017, the Municipal Council took a decision to write off an amount of more than 800 million without doing quality assurance exercise to determine whether among the debtors there were people working for government. And I'm sure the AT report has indicated that in some of the indigent registers of municipalities, we found even government employees working there, and disciplinary processes are actually continuing in that regard. Now, at the same time, the municipality had a challenge in terms of the ICT company that they had actually secured services from in terms of ICT related matters, to the level where statements were not issued to consumers. So during that period, from July 2017, up until the intervention And when a lot of things were reinstated, we only started issuing bills to consumers in 2019. So there was a period of lull from 2017 to 2019. And that is why the ESCOM debt had increased, because no payment was actually being made during that period. And after the team was actually deployed to the municipality, monthly ESCOM bill were actually serviced. And some of the matters were also relevant or elevated to the court to the level where we concluded an out of court settlement. We became an order of the court, which has actually encouraged the establishment of the task team, which is led by Deputy Minister Pakstar, to actually look at issues of ESCOM debt and many other infrastructural problems that are affecting the municipality. And like I'm saying, Chair, and I said during the day, the municipality tomorrow will be resolving on the PSP model as one of the anchors that will see an improvement in terms of the wastewater treatment plants. You would be aware that the municipality is one of the municipalities that are polluting the Val River through the Velge River. And that has created health hazard to some of the communities residing along those streams. And the PSP model, we are confident, Chair, that will come as a relief to assist municipalities, because it has currently 8 water treatment works that are not functional, and as a result, the streams and rivers are being polluted. And with the adoption of this model by the Executive Council and subsequently tomorrow by the municipality, we will see a number of improvements in terms of attending to the wastewater treatment plant. And that also goes to revenue management, because the installation of the end-stage prepaid meters, both water and electricity, will actually improve revenue in the municipality. And a number of challenges that are there will be attended to. The only remaining things also is the notified maximum demand, as I reflected during the day. An amount of 167 million is required to actually ensure that ESCOM can increase the electricity supply in Maluti-Apofung, so that we don't experience the load shedding, because it has also caused litigation against the municipality. Chair, let me pause there. It has been a marathon, but I've tried to come up with a summary on all the 4 presentations. Thanks, Chair.
Thank you so much, HOD. Colleagues, here is the presentation. Before maybe you go, HOD, Masilonyana was one of the municipalities that has been under administration for quite some time. And I don't see it here. Is it out of administration?
Chair, yes, like the MEC has indicated in his opening remarks, he did indicate that Masilonyana, because of the improvement and the strides that have been made, the Executive Council took a decision to withdraw Section 139. But we will also be availing the forensic report on Masilonyana once it has served through the proper structures, and the committee will be favored with a copy thereof. Thanks, Chair.
Are you able to also share with us the close-up report?
Chair, it's something
when
that...
when you terminate, you are happy that the municipality is back to normal.
Yes, we will do that, like we have said with Maluti-Apofung. Those are the report that we will submit to the committee, because they are readily available. And we will also submit the same copies to Cooperative National as per the request we made earlier on during the day. Thanks, Chair.
Then, if that is the case, when I'm saying for Masilonyana, you're going to give us a close-up report. Why then is the administrator still there if the intervention has come to an end? Close-up report, you still keep the administrator. What do you call that if it's not administration?
Chair, I did not hear you clear on that one, please. May you kindly repeat?
I'm saying in Masilonyana, there's still an administrator there, but you've terminated the administration. Then that's why I was asking the issue of the close-up report. But you can respond to that in writing in terms of a close-up report. Maybe you'll make us understand if the administration is terminated and then you still keep the administrator there. What is the administrator still doing there? That's
No,
the issue.
no, Chair, I can confirm. My apologies for coming in while we were still talking. I can confirm there is no administrator there, Chair. After the withdrawal of the administration, I can confirm that it was Mr. Kau, who subsequently was withdrawn. And at a time when the disputes were there around his involvement, myself and the Director General were appointed by the Executive Council to oversee the municipality up until our presentation of the report. And then the Executive Council took a decision to withdraw. So we don't know of anyone who is the administrator at this stage. I can confirm on record, Chair. Thanks.
You had various interventions in that municipality. There was one that happened in 2010 to 2011. Then another one came in March 2017, which I believe you terminated it by September 2019 on the same municipality. But then
Yeah.
the assurances to say this municipality won't go back, but you'll deal with it as we progress, because it has got an incident here where it was under administration, again under administration, and then we are not talking. The other issue, when you talk the section 139 intervention and the MFMA intervention, can I get it clearly? Is Mangaung under 139 or is Mangaung under the Municipal Finance Management Act?
Mangaung is under section 139, subsection 5, which deals with the financial recovery plan. It is still a financial intervention.
Okay, it's fine. Colleagues, here is the presentation. How do we, can I see colleagues who wants to interact with this presentation? You wanted to speak on Metsima Ulu, Honorable Kaiser. Remember, I interacted you. You'll be the first one to speak. Yes. And then can I get the other colleagues? Kalipi, you're there.
Direko, Chair. Direko.
Yes. Who else? The three of you. Okay. In that order. Let's start with Honorable Kaiser.
Thank you, Chair. I think that the question that I wanted to raise with regard to the Hlabeng local municipality was then answered by the speaker that just spoke now. I just forgot his title. And Chair, I wanted to ask about the debtors. What measures have the municipality been able to implement to ensure that debt owed to municipalities by businesses and government are collected? And what was your role as the province in terms of that debt, the debtors that are owing municipality to the tune of 626 million? Secondly, the Auditor General audit outcomes speak to the disclaimers with regards to Mafube local municipality, which had disclaimers with findings for 3 consecutive times. What actions were taken to ensure that those who failed to submit financial reports on 3 consecutive periods were implemented by the province? And then, Chair, is the province aware of the following? The Bethlehem Farmers Trust, who unlawfully auctioned without beneficiaries' knowledge is a farm. And then in Vogel, Fontaine, RDP houses, fraud and corruption. Can you just explain to us about that case number 28407/2020? And then, Chair, I would like a clarity on some illegal evictions of farm occupiers by private white farmers. And then, Chair, I would move to the question pertaining to the fact that the Auditor General also spoke to the power struggles between the administrator and the municipal manager in Mafube municipality. What conflict resolution measures have you put in place as a province to deal with the situation, as it should affect the services and the residents when political leaders, when administrators, when officials are actually in conflict.
What is the noise all about, Honorable Kaza?
There's no noise, Chair.
There's an awkward sound. It's not you.
No. What kind of noise are you talking about?
It's a terrible sound that is even, then we are battling to hear you, but proceed.
Oh.
Yeah, it's consuming you then.
Okay. All right.
Your gadget.
So
like a TV or a radio or something that is failing to do.
The radio or something, but it's not coming from me. I don't know. Maybe it's the waves or the frequency.
Are you okay? Proceed.
I don't know. In terms of Mangaung metropolitan municipality, can you explain the events that led to the metro to the intervention? Just give us an outline in terms of what actually led to the intervention, because there's said to be a political infighting in those events. Thank you, Chair. I think that sums up my questions. No, Chair. Before that, the MEC for Cocta spoke to us as if everything is good and will be all right in terms of the Maluta Pofung, and we had Maluta Pofung here in the committee earlier on today, and there were conflicting views in terms of the CFO who was found to have even lied here. So we must not be induced with the doses of illusions in that sense. So there is no municipalities there. We have seen it before, and interventions and proper interventions should be taken instead of putting us to sleep with doses of illusion. Thank you, Chair.
Okay. Honorable Mkalipi. Thank you, Honorable Keza. Now your turn, Honorable. Unmute your microphone. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. Thanks for the presentation from the HOD and the preamble by the MEC. MEC, thanks for coming in this meeting, because in the morning we needed you strongly when we were dealing with Maluta Pofung. Chairperson, let me start with Mangaung. I just need a clarity here, because before MEC, before you put Mangaung into administration in 2019, there was a serious poor governance, corruption, low revenue collection, and a cash flow crisis. And then you took time to act on Mangaung based on those things. Secondly, now the HOD is saying that after the chair asked specifically what sort of intervention is Mangaung under between
Unmute, Mtalipi. You're talking alone. You've muted your microphone.
You're
tired.
I'm
Repeat
tired. Okay.
I
Okay.
realize that. Start from the beginning on Mangaung.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Chair. Okay, I'm saying let me start with Mangaung. Just get clarities, because when this municipality was put on administration in 2019, there was a plethora of crisis that was there before. Some of them is poor governance, is corruption, is low revenue collection, and so forth and so forth. So I'm asking the MEC if it was not late to act on those bases, because we've been following the crisis on top of crisis, whereby even there were some threats. I'm not sure if it happened, whereby the salaries were not paid to workers, and so on and so on. So now the HOD have shared with us that the kind of intervention is section 139 subsection 5. So now, if they can zoom in and tell us in terms of the political instability, as we heard as well, that the mayor was removed through the vote of no confidence through a secret ballot paper on Friday night. So now, how is this intervention is going to assist? Because it looked like the major problems there is political instability, whereby the ruling party is fighting within. So now, if they are going to address some of the problems and political intervention, if it's not done, how is going to assist this municipality to resolve their problems? It same goes to other municipalities, Chairperson. For instance, in Maluta Pofung, when I was listening to the MEC was saying that after the intervention in Maluta Pofung, there is some stability, because there were a plethora of problems there in that municipality. But we seems to disagree with him, because when we listen to the presentation and the engagement that we had this morning, there's no stability there, especially as the portfolio committee, we also measure the stability with the service delivery that is taking place, because our concerns or our interest as the committee members, is the service deliveries that must go to the people. So I don't know if the MEC is only concerned about the level of political engagement that is happening in this municipality, which is different to us as the committee members. And I was also worried when the MEC was saying that, no, there is a difference after the intervention, because our engagement in the morning was emanating from the AG's report, when the AG was painting a very bleak picture in terms of the accountability, finance accountability, in particular in that municipality. And the other thing that is also coming very strong here in the HOD's presentation is the issue of aging infrastructure, both in Mafube and in Maluta Pofung. That was the case as well. So now, if the MEC is going to say that, no, there is a difference after they intervened, but if you are not addressing the issue of infrastructure that is aging, the problem is still going to be there. But in the morning, we receive a report that there are some interventions in terms of addressing the infrastructure that is aging, but we were not told about the time frames. I'm talking about Maluta Pofung. So it goes to Mafobe when we're told here in terms of the aging of infrastructure, and even the statistics were given about the meters, water meters that needs to be replaced. Out of 20,193, 4,310 is a no-no. And we are not told how far is the province addressing that particular problem that will have an effect on the people on the ground. And I didn't hear the HOD very clear in terms of the litigations of Mafobe, whereby he mentioned the pension fund, SARS, and PAYE. So if you can come back on that one and elaborate to us, because it sounds as if there is a very serious problem. If there is pension fund involved, SARS involved, PAYE involved, it means that the workers of that municipalities are in crisis. When it comes to Metsimahulu, the issue of sport complex is also dominating, and it also protruded in the report of the AG from the beginning, and we all have some concerns in that regard, because Tina, we just call it plain corruption. We can't say that the money was spent in terms of sport complex, but only the fence. But yeah, we welcome the report that suggests that the Hawks are involved now. That is the way to go. But again, about the instability of the municipality, it also needs to be addressed very clear, because the SACP, the alliance between the SACP and the ANC, is the one who brought this municipality into its knees. It's not those things of Hengu municipality in terms of opposition parties against the ruling party. So the problems that we are facing in all these municipalities is the infighting within the ANC. And I'm very happy because the MEC of Cooperative belongs to the ANC ruling party. We have been raising this issue on the portfolio committee, especially when the minister and the deputy ministers are here to say, if you are going to talks in terms of governance only without confronting the real issues of infighting, we are not going to win this thing. That's why we are going to have such meetings until this time. It's 2012, talking about the dysfunctionality of municipalities, because we are not addressing what is the real problem of the infighting within the ANC. And I'm appealing to you as leaders, especially the MEC, who happens to be the ruling party, to also go and talk to your people there politically when you are sitting in ANC structures, to say that you must come with a political solution to this effect. It can be, because it means that we are going to identify wrong things, and we are going to come with wrong solutions without confronting the real elephant in the room, which is infighting. This alliance between the ANC and the SSCP in the Metsimahulu is a result of this dysfunctionality of this municipality. Same goes to the Maluti Pofung. It's one and the same thing. And in the morning, MEC, whereby we want you to come very clear with us, is the issue that we could not conclude as this committee because we felt that we're being undermined by the new MM and the new CFO, whereby they have paid themselves unauthorized. And when we try to get to the bottom of the issue, why did they do that without any authority? They lied to this committee to say they got approval from you. And when the HOD said no, there was no approval from the MEC, they then chickened out and they didn't want to tell us straight what is happening. So we decided not to continue with the meeting, but since we are here, please clarify us, because the HOD came very strong to say that no, at a departmental level, at your provincial level, you are aware about the fraud that was committed by the new MM and the new CFO. And therefore, it becomes a problem when you try to resolve some of the areas by getting new people to get these municipalities to functions, and they go back to what the old colleagues who happened to commit the same fraud. So it means that you are not going forward in terms of addressing those issues. So we really want to get from you, how do you address this issue of the fraud that is committed by these new staff members who have been hired with a very clear mandate in terms of politics to say go and change what is happening in this municipality, but they just committed fraud. I know that the HOD also mentioned that there is a court case. No, there's an investigation by the Hawks, but it's not enough because some of the things need to be addressed politically. So we would like to hear from you, MEC, on how to go forward in this matter. Thank you very much, Chair. Let me just pause there.
Thank you, Honorable Mkalipi. Honorable Director.
Thank you, Chairperson. Last year, when we had a joint meeting between ourselves and SCOPA, we also had Mafube and Masilonyana into the meeting because they were one of the offenders that were called to the meeting. And in that meeting, we experienced a serious tension between the MM and the administrator who was there, who was deployed to Mafube. So I just want to check, Chair, if the situation has been resolved between the two, and if not, what is it that is happening currently? And the other issue, Chair, is the issue of the Mafube financial status. When you go through the reports of Mafube, you can see that the municipality is technically bankrupt and they also have low revenue collection. So what is it that the administrators are doing to assist Mafube? Because Mafube has been under administration for a very long time, but it seems like the challenges are not being resolved. So what is it that COCTA is doing to ensure that the challenges are being resolved? Is the administrators that are deployed to the municipality equals to the task? Are they assisting the municipality, or are they also contributing to the challenges of municipality? I just want to check, I just need clarity on the relationship and the capacity of the administrators in our municipalities. And then the other one, Chair, is the issue of Maludia Pofu. I also concur with my colleagues because this morning we had a meeting with Maludia Pofu, and when you listen to what the MEC is saying versus what we have picked up from the Auditor General, you can see that there are still challenges in that municipality. So I just want to check with the MEC if the decision to evoke Section 139 in Maludia Pofu, is it really going to assist municipality? Is that municipality capable of running itself at this moment? But on my side, I feel that it's too early to remove the administrators in that municipality because there are still challenges that need more intervention. And then, Chair, lastly, on this municipality, as I've indicated, Malute and Mafube, those municipalities are in a very distressed financial status. So I just want to check if on the intervention, is there any financial recovery plan and also consequence management in order to assist that municipality? And then lastly, Chair, I think the HOD responded on the issue of Masilonyana. And one of the things that were a challenge in Masilonyana was issue of service delivery. Now that Masilonyana is no longer under intervention, are the issues that were raised by communities and also that were raised in the meeting with SCOPA being resolved, especially the one of service delivery, which we're dealing with shortage of water and yeah, I think it was shortage of water. Is the matter being resolved now? I just want to check. Thank you, Chair.
Colleagues, thank you. I have issues also to raise I want to understand with regard how the processes are undertaken when you deal with interventions. Going down the memory line on Mangaung intervention, it was initiated on 19 December. Was the NCOP duly informed within 7 days period, as section 139.6 prescribed, within 17 days after the intervention began? And if so, if indeed the NCOP was informed, what was the response from the NCOP? And then what is the impact of the NCOP response, if any? Then looking at the timeline, the administrator took office on 27 January 2020. He does that prior to the terms of reference being approved by the Provincial Exco. The Provincial Exco approved the terms of reference on 16 March 2020 and then submitted these to the municipality on 13 May 2020, whereas the administrator, they've started in January 2020. Then my question that comes out of that, what authority did the administrator have from the 27th of January 2020 in the absence of the approved terms of reference? I've asked the question and I was clarified this is a financial intervention in terms of section 135.5. It being that which requires a financial recovery plan as a section 139.5 provides to be implemented by the administrator. What was executed by the administrators from 27 January 2020 to July 2020 in the absence of the approved financial recovery plan? The fact is that Mangaung over the past 2 years has been consistently been owed in excess of 600 million by the same provincial government that put it under administration. In fact, as the end of July 2020, a total amount was 630 million, and then schools debt was 121.5 million. I'm trying to say the total outstanding debt was 630 million from the province, and in particular, the school debt was 121.5 million. And then at the same time, the same Exco put Mangaung under administration. And I raised it deliberately because we were told Mangaung is under financial intervention. I want to understand what is the provincial government's view on this? Because if you check the two figures that I've mentioned of 630 million Mangaung being owned by the for provincial departments and also 121.5 by the schools from the Department of Education. Don't you see that as a provincial government, you have contributed to the collapse of the municipality? I think the rest will come having listened to what will be your response to my other colleagues, but I wanted you to address us on this because really one is of the view that you are responsible for the collapse as a province, for the collapse of this municipality. Over to you, MEC and team. I should think the acting premier will say something as we move towards the conclusion.
Thank you, Chairperson, and thanks for the questions as well. from the honorable members. Chair, to a large extent, with regard to the Hlabeng, a reply was provided on a number of other issues. I'm sure if the HOD has still got follow up on those issues, we would do so. But the issues that are raised about illegal farm, occupying by whites, and unlawful auction by farmers' trust, I think if the HOD has got information, we'll do so. Otherwise, I would request that we must source this information and provide it to honorable members. I'm sure the HOD responded to the issue of the in Mafube, where the relationship has broken down between the and the administrator. And the is no longer part of the municipality. And that administrator at the time is also no longer part of the municipality. A new cohort of both the administrator and the acting which to a large extent, honorable member, with the progress report this far, we are beginning to see the light at the end of the tunnel. And they presented a comprehensive financial recovery plan of the municipality. And they are reporting monthly to me, and we are reporting to the executive as well about that progress and monitor the situation. So at the moment, the regular reports that are serving are giving us a better understanding of the municipality. And I think the HOD went extensively on the issue of the of that municipality. With regard to questions on Mangaung, it's true there's political infighting in Mangaung, and it is receiving an attention. And it is true that the mayor was voted out, and the process, therefore, that must follow is that the council must convene and elect a mayor. But Mangaung, remember, Chair, it has got a deputy mayor, which in line with the law, the Structures Act, if my memory serves me well, it is 56.6. I'm sure that one, which allows the acting mayor, the deputy mayor, to act in an event that the mayor is not there. It's not the same case where the mayor discretionary appoints someone when he or she is sick or something has happened. This one has been duly elected by council. So, and the law allows the deputy mayor to take over. So those issues are receiving attention as we speak. And on the intervention of Mangaung and the issues that are raised, I think they were covered extensively on the report on the reasons of financial recovery plan, but also I wish to put to the attention of honorable members that that Mangaung is a non-delegated municipality, financially accounts directly to National Treasury, and on other aspects of governance and administration, COCTA does monitor and help the municipality. And the team that is there, we are receiving some level of positiveness because they've been able to pay their debts and to pay creditors. They've paid ABSA now. They've paid part of the money to the Development Bank of South Africa. They are now paying workers. There's no panic now as to whether people are going to receive their salaries. And they even are able to pay workers from revenue generated by the municipality. They are no longer dependent on the equitable share. And you would realize that Moodley has also given them a nod up by upgrading their status. No, not Moodley. is it Fisher or Moodley? I can't just remember. I'm just thinking from my head as I speak. They've given them a thumbs up to a large extent. And generally, with the response of the community, there are letters that are written to say we are able to see that there's some progress in the municipality. And so it is, to a large extent, moving towards the right direction. With regard to Metsimaholo, it's true there's also political instability in Metsimaholo, and that's why we took an option of with the instruction of the executive going directly to court to section 139 1B, and it was as a result of there was no functionality of government there. For a period of 3 years, they've not been appointing any section 57, section 56. And they had advertised, they could not appoint, and they were at loggerheads at all times. So the council was not sitting for a period of a year. It was disrupted every time it said. So we had to intervene and help and try to help the community there to receive services, because they were not even provided with services as the municipality was not functional. So that's why there was an intervention. But we've since restored order, and we've persuaded all parties to work together in the interest of the community. And at least people seem to be wanting to respond positively. And I'll take note on the expression of honorable members that we must at least talk more to harness relations and try to respond. But I must also indicate that, remember, we intervene as government. I think ANC can speak for itself and SACP, but our intervention there is as government, and we do not really respond and want to respond on behalf of any political party. I am, yes, an ANC member and a very proud member, but I work as government and with all political parties as MEC, and we've been, to a large extent, receiving that support. So Metsimaholo, at the moment, council has also said it's been sitting, and they've passed the budget, they've passed the ITP, and they've been able to interact to one another. So there is, to a large extent, stability, relative stability in Metsimaholo as well, and we're hoping that it will be sustained moving forward. Masilonyana, the service delivery, it is happening in Masilonyana. The water issue, honorable members, it will affect majority of the municipality of the Free State, because we had experienced drought and for a very long time, and many of the sources of water and the dams ran dry. So we had that problem for a very long time in many of the areas in the Free State. So it's not that there were other problems in Masilonyana, which jointly with the Department of Water and Sanitation, they are attending to. So that municipality too is coming well. I did apologize, Honorable Chair, on the meeting earlier, and I still apologize even now. I wish it could have been different. That I attend. I honestly respect the committee, and so I apologize because there was a sitting, and I had specific issues to respond to, and I'm also the acting MEC education, so I had to respond to certain issues. So I honestly do apologize, and I did receive a report which I think honorable members can really guide us on that issue.
MEC,
Yes,
MEC?
Chairperson, yes.
Your apology was accepted.
Thank you very much, Chairperson.
Don't feel
Thank you.
guilty. We accepted your apology.
Thank you very much, Chairperson.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you very much. But Maluti Apofung is not a rosy picture. It is a very challenging municipality, and I only related to the historical and the current. And I would not really dispute the view raised by the committee around that municipality. But there is a municipality. There is a municipality. It's not true that there's no municipality. There is a municipality. There are challenges and deep challenges which are attended to, and I am directly related with also the post administration. What we did is that we don't just withdraw abruptly in the administration. Once we withdraw for the next 6 months, we put up a team that will deal with post administration. That would be supporting the municipality until such time that we are satisfied. We invoke Section 154 to do that, and that process is underway. And I'm sorry that it is uncalled for that the portfolio committee should be undermined by the MM and the CFO. That is really not on. But on the payment of the MM and the CFO, the HOD wrote a letter that they must reverse that decision with immediate effect, and we concurred on that because there's no way that they can do that. It is wrong and it is uncalled for. So we were at the stage that they must reverse with immediate effect that if they wanted to be paid back, they should have written to the minister. I don't even have that authority to approve that. There's a PSP model which the HOD has emphasized that to a large extent is attending on the aging infrastructure and on the service delivery, which is going to, that model involves the Development Bank of South Africa, National Treasury, Cooperative National and Provincial Treasury, and the Cooperative Province, and ESCOM, if I can remember from the top of my head. So it's a program coordinated by these departments and these private sectors to help the municipality. There's a huge, substantial investment directly to that municipality, which is going to see an immediate improvement on the infrastructure, which is what the HOD is saying. So service delivery is at the top of our head. We exist because people must be serviced. We don't do it on our own. We don't exist on our own or for ourselves. We exist because the community and the citizens must receive services, and that's why we are doing all these means to ensure that the municipalities are functional. Is the municipality ready? I'm honestly and earnestly, honorable members, thinking that the municipality is ready. It is irrespective of the challenges that are there, which are not unique to that municipality, but our continuous interaction and assistance to this municipality, which is the same in all municipalities in the Free State, has shown us that it is promising and it is moving towards the right direction. And Chair, I really regret if this is doses of illusion. There's no intention of doing that, and I apologize if I did that. But I wanted to paint a picture that says, this is how we've been working, and this is where we come from, and this is where we are going. And with the results that we are seeing, we are definitely sure that things have turned, and with our post administration also, things are going towards the right direction. I think the HOD would respond to other issues, Honorable Chairperson, with your permission. Thank you very much.
Much, MEC. Thank you so much. HOD, over to you.
No, thanks, Chairperson. Just to run quickly through some of the things. If you check slide 63 of our presentation, the infrastructural improvements under Mafube are indicated there, including the timelines. And that is one of the projects that we are saying are making an improvement. You would recall one of the things was the meters. If you check at column number, what is that? Column, the installation and replacement of water meters in Mafube. An amount of 15 million was made available by the Department of Water and Sanitation, and that project is 26% complete to see the installation of about 1,458 meters. The same goes with the refurbishment of the wastewater treatment plant, I'm sorry, the tune of 10 million, construction of rising main from Frankfurt Waterworks to the new 12 megaliter reservoir in Namahadi, because there's an area called Pumulo, which has been prejudiced in terms of the supply of water. So that is where the timeframes actually lie in terms of the question that was raised by Honorable Mkalipi. The sports complex in Mitimahulu, the matter, like I said, it's before the Hawks. They are actually dealing with it. The issue of the salary payments of the CFO and the MEC has already alluded to, but I also want to indicate that the report, as promised, is already with the secretariat of the portfolio committee, because it was sent this afternoon, indicating all the areas that I actually talked about in my presentation in the morning. Yes, the issue of corruption, I think you are aware that the Hawks is working in the various municipalities in our province, and we are giving them necessary cooperation to ensure that they do what they are supposed to do. And our principle remains the same, that no one is actually guilty until he's found guilty by the competent court. But where corrective measures in the name of good governance, we also advise municipalities on the steps to take, like some of the municipal managers that are facing criminal cases. We have actually advised municipalities on what steps to take in terms of the disciplinary processes, because you know that the criminal matter can run concurrently with the disciplinary matter. So nothing excludes those two processes to run concurrently. The payment of salaries, like I said, the report is there. Mafube and Masilonyane withdrawal. Yes, indeed, the MEC has also reflected. Part of the reason why we had to withdraw the then administrator in Mafube and subsequently the resignation of the MM were informed by the very issues. That's why now we have a new team, and that's why we see some improvement in some of the areas. But the challenge mainly there is revenue collection as a result of the electricity supply agreement that the municipality has with rural maintenance. The other issue, Chair, it relates to the illegal eviction. As the department, we have, through our LED unit, workshop the municipalities on the provision of the extension of Security of Tenure Act, so that they can, assist municipalities whenever there are those eviction. Municipalities can then determine whether there's compliance to ESTA. So I will not necessarily deal with that process, but we can follow it up with the Department of Rural Development and Land Reform, including the Department of Agriculture. The Fontaine one, I'm sure, because our department is not same like in other provinces where Cooperative and Human Settlement are under one ministry. So I'm sure Human Settlement can give the details. The Mafube and Bethlehem Farm Trust will have to get the details, because I'm sure if it's the farm that was initially funded by the Department of Agriculture, producing the apples, we will give the information that is available to the Department of Agriculture so that they can tell us exactly what is actually happening. Now, on the one for the intervention in Mangaung, Chairperson, I will also send that report tomorrow to the portfolio committee. I think even when we were visited by the select committee as one of the committees of the NCOP to determine whether the province is justifiable around some of its decision and action, especially around the intervention, we did provide a proof that we complied with the legislation around informing the NCOP. You would recall, Chairperson, that when decision was taken by the Executive Council, it was around December, and Parliament at that time was on a recess. And what we did was we sent the information through so that when Parliament comes back from the recess, then the relevant committees will receive our report in terms of what the EXCO resolved on. And that evidence was provided to the select committee, which will also provide to this committee, including the email confirmation that this report was sent relevantly, and it further confirms that that report was confirmed, was actually read. The recipient did read the email. That's what I'm trying to say. So, and the committee has agreed, because when we were at the select committee, at the time when this matter was raised, we immediately, because we're still at the office, sent the information confirming through WhatsApp and another email confirming that they were informed accordingly, and the hiccup could only be on the side of the Secretariat of Parliament, and that was confirmed. The 27th January versus the 16th of March, when the terms of reference were approved. Chair, after EXCO resolution, working together with National Treasury, including National Cooperative, there was a moment where we were requested to circulate the draft terms of reference so that Treasury, because mainly the issues that relate to the intervention in Mangaung were financial related, including Cooperative, where they had to actually make input. And that is what actually delayed the adoption of these terms of reference, which was finally done on the 16th of actually March. And then subsequently the municipality received them on the 13th of May, because there was that outcry that the municipality has not been favored with the terms of reference. But I remember during the engagement when the MEC went to the municipality, he indicated and he took extracts from the EXCO submissions, which were showing what will be the role and what will be the areas to be covered by the administrators. And he did indicate that at the later stage, Council will be favored with approved terms of reference. And those were the reasons for the delay. Yes, I acknowledge that government debt also contributed to the financial woes of the municipality. But there's always been an improvement. The payment plan was concluded. And then upon conclusion of that payment plan, Public Works has been consistent in terms of paying the debt and the area debt of the municipality. But there was also an Executive Council decision, Chairperson, where the Metro also owed government garage. So we had to actually balance as provincial government so that the debt that the provincial government has with the municipality, we can then do some reconciliation against the debt that the municipality had against the provincial government. But those are the matters that have actually received attention. And like I said, there's a payment plan in place. And I think there will be an improvement in those areas, like the MEC has indicated. Moody has also come in to upgrade the municipality ever since the previous downgrade. The loans that the municipality had with Development Bank of South Africa, Standard Bank, which caused the downgrade, are currently being serviced consistently. The Blue Motor account with the municipality, which has accumulated a lot of arrears, is currently being serviced on continuous basis, and current account is being paid. And there's also an improvement in terms of delegating part of the money to service the arrear debt. Chair, I think I've managed or attempted to cover most of the questions that were asked by honorable members. Thank you, Chair.
Colleagues, those are the responses. But then on my part, I want to follow up to you, HOD. I don't think you have adequately answered my questions. Because my question is very direct and you seem to have dodged it. The question was about what is the legal validity of the presence of the administrators in the absence of the terms of reference and the financial recovery plan as prescribed by the legislation. As prescribed by your own section 139, that 65 that you have invoked, because it's very precise and clear. It's very precise and clear. You know it very well than I do. I didn't hear you responding to those issues. Colleagues.
Chair, Chair, let me respond. Chair, like I said, those delays were caused by what? And you are correct. There may not have been any legal standing during that period. But remember, the MEC, when he engaged counsel, those are some of the things that he indicated that will have delay in terms of finalizing the terms of reference. When the administrator started in January, there wasn't much of an impact that was done in terms of any other implications that may prejudice the municipality. They were actually conducting what we call diagnostic assessment, so that by the time they effectively start their work, then all these other matters have got a legal backing. That's why when they started on the 27th, they were doing that diagnostic assessment. And on the 16th of March, if you look at their report, the first report that they tabled before the Executive Council, it was tabled now in June. And the subsequent one was tabled now, I think last week or 2 weeks back. So these are the reasons why the Executive Council even received the report in recent months. Thank you, Chair.
I don't want to create a dialogue with you, HOD, but let's hear the others. Because the way you put it, one is tempted to again come back to you. But let's hear the others first. Colleagues, are you covered?
Yes, Chair, I'm covered.
Kaiser, Opperman, you had issues to raise? You covered.
Covered, Chair.
I didn't hear my question about Chair, the ability of the province having to deal with. Let me just go to it, Chair. The debtors, I didn't hear, or the ability of the province and the role that it played, and the measures that the municipalities were able to implement to ensure that debt owed to municipalities by businesses and government departments are collected. I didn't hear that response.
Can we get that response?
Chair, thank you very much. Can I speak?
Yes, MEC, it's fine.
Okay. No, thank you very much, Chair. Various municipalities have collection plans, and so part of what we do is to assist them in the best ways to do so, even creating or allowing the current 4IR to be utilized to make it easy for people to meet their remittance. But other than that, we didn't end there, Chair. We even went to through a campaign, the Patala campaign, where we urging all citizens to pay and all people to pay their service. We even went.
Sorry to interject, MEC. My question doesn't relate to the payment of residents, because that's often the temptation, MEC, to speak about how residents are not paying. And we have heard this before, that the temptation becomes quick to go to the residents without having measures to actually collect the debt that is owed to municipalities from businesses around the municipalities, not residents, and then businesses and departments that are owing the municipalities themselves, thus resolving the issue of revenue collection, raising revenue collection in that sense.
No, thanks, Chair. The response I'm trying to give was a broad response on all sections that owe municipalities. The HOD went at length to explain about the payment plan that has been entered to between government and municipalities. And that payment plan is normally an agreement between said municipalities and the provincial government. And that includes national government. So with regard to province, we have a payment plan. And to a large extent, certain municipalities have been paid in advance. So I thought the HOD covered extensively that issue. That's why I did not relate to it. I related to business on the basis of collection from various business places. And the municipalities have got plans, concrete plans to collect from businesses, including incentives that they give. So I wanted to respond to that.
Chair. That's mute.
Thank you, Acting Premier. Now, I'm saying with regard to business, there are no plans of even giving incentives for them to pay municipalities. So it is part of the plan. So I'm adding because it is necessary to understand that broad plan that says even communities owe municipalities and communities that are able to pay. And our program of engaging with all citizens to pay. And if we say Patala, we don't exclude business and provincial government. Patala means pay. It is inclusive of everybody, every sector in the community to make their payment. So I'm alluding to that fact for the community to understand that we've had an inclusive and a broad strategy of paying municipalities because we realize that municipalities don't have revenue unless or until everybody else who's benefiting from services of the municipalities pay. So that's why we're giving a broad, we wanted the community to have a benefit of understanding our broad strategy because that one was coordinated from province to an extent that we even agreed that no councillor must own municipalities, no MEC or provincial government public reps must own municipalities, no administrators. This case, it means workers of the municipality that must own municipalities, even workers in the provincial government. So we even invoke for municipalities relevant code of conduct, which is it? I forgot now the relevant conduct, the code of conduct for councillors and relevant code of conduct for administrators or all civil servants in the municipalities. The law does not allow them to own municipalities for more than 3 months. So we had a comprehensive strategy. We did not have exclusive to specific section of the population. Thank you, Chair.
Chairperson.
I'm sorry, my apologies. You could hear I'm talking. I didn't unmute my microphone. I was trying to say these are the processes like interventions that are supposed to assist municipalities, to support the municipalities. And then I should also say HOD, I didn't want to have a dialogue like I said with you to say an admission that what happened in Mangaon with regard to sending administrators without the terms of reference and the financial recovery plans, you must just admit it was illegal from the start. And then because you see, it then exposes you to say these are the processes that are that are supposed to address and support municipalities. At the end of the day, then you don't follow the law. I think in future, with future intervention, follow the law to the letter. That will assist you a great deal to then be able, because then it's just that then at times that's where you get challenged at times in court by municipalities. for not following proper procedures. I should think it should be an eye-opener. MEC, I could have raised this with you during the day on Malotia perform, and that's why I was saying there's no need for you to feel guilty because you didn't just stay away for the sake of staying away. You had Parliament to your provincial legislature to account to. You appeared before the portfolio committee around 12 June this year. And then there were issues that the administrator was raised that was very concerning in that meeting, wherein there is an indication, and we've seen that during the day, like you have apologized on the behavior. But the administrator was also lamenting in that meeting that whatever he was doing to make sure that the administration works, then the decision that were taken by the joint intervention team, they have been reversed by the municipal manager. Amongst others, the cited issues of the reinstatement of suspended managers, senior managers, and then the labor matter in the labor matter. So then, and then the administrator was complaining about the action reverse. They've got a significant impact on the implementation of the recovery action plan and some of the recommendations that were contained in the recommendation that I raised, and I didn't hear the HOD also responding to that, the recommendations coming from the NCUP. And then what we have also experienced during the day, Honorable Director had a way of putting it nicely to say, this is the municipality that is in trouble, in financial distress. There are managers that are appointed to assist the municipality, but they are now further than contributing to the collapse of the municipality. So these are the matters that, like, we've taken a decision, MEC, that we had to attend that meeting, and indeed the HOD has given us the necessary documents. We are going to apply our minds, and then I think when we meet, it's a matter that you'll have to come and address us. But then this thing that I read from that NCUP report was very disturbing as well, to say. At the same time, you are saying you are exiting there, but there are these problems. The people that you have appointed now there, as they are just disregarding the law. They can't even wait for the minister's approval. And then the issues that you talk to the acting MMC, the acting mayor, he seemed not to be aware. At the same time, you're saying you've stabilized the council. Then when you did that, the people that are there, are they able to do oversight over administration? Or it's a situation wherein then administrators will do as they wish because they've seen the weaknesses of the people that they are supposed to lead them. So these are some of the concerns MEC as we're moving towards wrapping out, to say these are the matters that you can respond to some of the issues, but like Honorable Mkanibi has said, on Malutia Pofung, I think we still need to have engagement with you together with the team. And we will plead with you to say the mayor must be in the meeting because she has got the responsibility to lead in terms of the MFMA. So she should be in that meeting. Then we'll plead with you so that you impress it with her. We'll find a date, we'll give you the notice in time so that all of you then, we won't cite other commitments. It's the days that we're going to agree, all of us. But I'll hand over to you and to respond to the remaining issues with the HOD as we are going to close this meeting. Then we'll allow the Premier to say something after you, then we'll then attend the meeting. Over to you, MEC.
Thanks, Chair. I can only say thank you for the indication and the observation you have made. And I agree I would be part of the meeting, and I appreciate really the observation the Chair has made. Thank you, Chair. I would prepare sufficiently and try to plead with everybody to be present. Thank you very much, Chair. I appreciate that. The chair is not unmuted. As his chair, we can hear.
My apologies. I was still saying thank you, MEC, for that commitment. And then the HOD won't say anything after the principal has said, I suppose. These are the matters that we will still work on them. And then I wanted to hand over to the Premier to say something before we close the meeting. She has listened on how the decisions of EXCO when it comes to intervention are implemented. And she might have also have noticed the shortcomings as the members were raising them. We want to hear from the Premier as we are heading towards the closure of this meeting.
No, thank you, Chair. Chair, governance is not an easy job, particularly a local government. Municipalities are a very difficult terrain. We have noted, Chair, all the things that have been raised as concerns. We have noted all the things where we did not give you a sufficient information to really put the committee at ease in terms of information needed. The important issue that you have asked now of Mangaung municipality, that gap about the administrators, I noted it. And we are learning also as these questions are being asked. Hence, we are really appreciating the committee and the work of the committee and the commitment of the committee to still be here since yesterday till this early hours. Good morning, Chair, and the committee. But really, now I would say it's a learning curve. We will go back, look at all the things, prepare a written response to all of them. But as the EXCO, we do get reports of all the work that is happening. And as the MEC and the HOD were confirming, the work under Section 139 municipalities is the things that have been reported to EXCO that we know about. But your questions are opening our eyes to other things that we'll have to look into and respond to the committee and work in a much more better way from now going forward. But all I can say is today is better than yesterday, and we hope for a much more better tomorrow in terms of the work that we are doing. Chair, no one wishes for bad outcomes for themselves, and we also don't want a service delivery to go down, because at the end of the day, we are also community members. When the services are not fine, they are also affecting us. So we are doing our best to improve in all aspects. And with you, with this robust, very interrogative questions, we hope that we'll be much more better in our work. Thank you very much, Chair.
There's the other member that to me, here's a phone to ask that question. That the answer will be included in those ones that a Premier, you're promising that they will be in writing. Honorable Pleasant, make your follow-up question so that we can go and sleep. We've got an early morning. We're starting at 9 tomorrow, please.
Thank you very much, Chair, for the opportunity. I have follow-ups that I want the province to note for oral replies. Number one, There are serious allegations that the ANC councillors are owning vending stations that sells prepaid electricity in Malutia Pofu municipality. 2, there are also allegations against the speaker of the municipality that he owns water tankers. All contracts and tenders of Malutia Pofu, the speaker allegedly benefits 10% as a kickback. Could you kindly investigate this when you come back? Number 3, there is a serious crisis of water which in Castel, which the minister had dedicated to 20 million relief intervention. Number 4, there is a serious crisis of electricity cuts in the whole municipality due to the debt of the municipality to ESCOM, which amounts to 5.3 billion, which takes me back to the same assertion that I had before, that there's no municipality there. 5, the municipality has declared war against King Letizia 3, who has a title deed and has given people land. The municipality is even prepared to evict downtrodden masses. 7, MPEC in the municipality remains toothless with regard to the issues of corruption in the municipality. Thank you very much. And the chairperson is said to be very, very biased. Thank you very much. I would wait for oral replies. Thank you, Chair, for the opportunity. We can still go on, Chair, if there is.
Who's biased? We've agreed that they will submit the questions in writing. It's ours now.
Yes, Chair.
They will respond to all your questions. There's a commitment. The MEC has also committed that we'll give him a date. He will come with Malutia Pofu. We'll make sure that he drags the mayor by hand, bring her along to the meeting. That's the commitment from the MEC. What more shall we want then? So that's the issue then. Let me thank you for keeping you. You have been with us since yesterday. You're still here with us, Premier and delegation. Yes, like you're saying, that's the element. We're trying to make our municipalities, our cooperative governance work better. Let me thank the colleagues from Salga, led by Councillor Stofile and the COO. They've been here with us since the wee hours. The deputy ministers were also here. I checked, Deputy Minister Tawi is still here. Did I omit you to give you an opportunity to say something? You were supposed to have said something during the day, Deputy Minister Tawi. You still want to do that? DM Tawi. DM Tawi. The DJ is still here. DG?
Yes, Chair, I'm still here.
What
I think, I'm not so sure. I think DM might have gone out of the meeting. I don't see him there any longer, Chair. I see DM Papella might still be there.
I see the DM on my part, she's still here. And then he's also still here on my side. The person that I can't see is DM. DM Papella, you still here? That's the one I can't see. But yeah, you know, it has been a long day. You can't blame people. You might have visited somewhere, but still in the meeting is not yet logged out. It's a pity when he comes back, he will find us having logged out. I want to thank everybody who's still here. The Parliament support staff. We've exceeded almost 3 hours, your time. Parliament team, the media team, the ICT colleagues, They are all here. We want to thank you and appreciate the support that you are giving us as a committee. Our own support staff, Martins, Shirin, and our administrator here, our researcher, our content advisor, Andile, Udmav, and team. We want to thank all of you. DG and the team want to appreciate you having stayed with us till this wee hours of the morning. So, for those that we are going to meet in the morning, just go and freshen up and take a bit of a nap, because tomorrow is another day. We have Northwest, same process that we've done for this yesterday into this early hours of the morning. So the struggle continues. Premier, we are trying to make to serve our communities better, to make our local government work. And we are able to do this when we jointly then work together. South Africa can be a better country to live in. Thank you so much, colleagues. The meeting gets adjourned. Good morning.